Hi, I'm Jill Stefani Wagner, and I'd like to give you a couple tips on transferring your photographic reference to your substrate. My first choice is always to actually sketch the scene right onto my paper, but sometimes that's not possible. I like to sketch onto my paper because I can make changes on the fly. I can move a mountain, add an extra tree, any of those type of things. But when I'm working with architecture especially, I need some help. And I'm going to show you how to grid up your paper to make it easier for you to transfer. Sometimes your photo reference is at a different size than what you want to paint. In this case, I made sure that this photo in Photoshop was proportionately correct for an 8 by 10 painting. But it's a little difficult to transfer it there working from a smaller size. And you may be working from a small color photo or any type of reference that would be difficult to transfer. I want to divide this up into our thirds, but it's not exactly dividable by 3. So the quick way to do that is to extend your lines off the photo and line up at the top and then find a numeral that is easily dividable by 3. You don't have to figure out division and all that math stuff. I'm not good at the math stuff. I never was. So this way is much easier. I see that 6 is obviously very divisible by 3. So I mark off at 2 and I mark off at 4. Now I have 3 divisions, and then I do that also on my lower end. And I can go anywhere up or down on these lines because they're still all the same width as my photo is. So I mark here, and I mark at 2 again. Now I have pretty dang perfect line up. A little darker. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the vertical way. I'm going to find something that's easily dividable by 3. Okay, 9's going to work just right. So 3 and 6. And then I can even go all the way here. Those are kind of close together. I should have done the other ones farther apart. But you now have your rule of thirds set up. Sometime when I'm working on something very complicated, like this scene of Italy with lots of architecture and different angles, I might even go in and divide it again. Pretty much in half here. And I could actually figure that out using the same format. But now I have a grid that I can look at and know where things fall. I can see this angle here. Well, actually, I have to do the same thing on my paper. I want to divide this in thirds, the widths. So 3, 6, and down here, 3, 6. Line those up. So now I know proportionately I have the same spaces as I have on my reference photo. And when I look at the reference photo, I have a lot more information to sketch from. I can see that my shadow starts about halfway from there. The little point is going to end right up here. So little by little, I can get all that information in. I have my focal point. My focal point is going to be this archway, and I can see that that's in there. And And I'm not going to go through drawing this whole setup for you, but you can see how this would help you place things in the right position, especially when you're working with architecture and perspective. And I can still change on the fly. If photos do weird things, the angles can turn in or out. You can see in this doorway, I know that door wasn't tipping over the way it appears here. So when I draw it in, you know, I can just draw it straight. And I can make the decision that I don't want that little area there. I can still work on the fly, but I've just got a lot more information on where things should fall in the painting. Here's another quick bonus tip for you, an even easier way to transfer your reference photo to your substrate. Now, I think working with photography has gotten a bad rap. A lot of people think of it as cheating, but we have to realize that through the ages, people, artists especially, have used tools to inform their work. During the Renaissance, people were using camera obscuras, and people are using projectors now. Even the Impressionists worked from photographs. So we can too. What I'm going to show you now is a way to directly transfer a photo reference that is at the exact same size that you want to paint at. It's very simple. I'm sure you all remember carbon paper. All we have to do is take the really black, heavy charcoal, and I do it onto a newspaper so I get a nice even feel. If you do it on something that's textured, you'll have a break in your darkness. Smear it all around here, and you can also take something like pan pastels or even actual pastels if there's a reason that you want your sketch to have a color to it. I'm just doing a little about that. It's a little messy. Dust off all the extra pastel or charcoal that you can so it doesn't contaminate your paper. I'm going to lay it onto my substrate and tape it down just at the top, and take a red pen. And the reason I use a red pen is if you use a black pen or a blue pen, it's sometimes hard to tell what you've actually traced on here. This is especially helpful when you're doing architecture, which can be very difficult to approximate the perspective on a painting. So what this allows me to do, again, I can make changes on the way. I have a crooked door here, so I don't have to follow the exact lines. I can choose to leave things out or put things in if I need to. But I know that after working on my photo, and I know where my focal point is going to be, I want to make sure it's in exactly the right spot. So again, I'm not going to do this whole painting, but you can see how this allows me to have a little bit more of a roadmap on where things will go. I'm going to always be trying to accent all of these lines that are coming to my focal point. More lines that do that. And I'm not going to do every single little detail. Again, I'm just looking for big shapes. So I hope that helps you.